Hello, hi there. It is my pleasure to join you in this training. I'll be sharing with you 5 important points for Rightsholder engagement. And these 5 points have been drawn from our extensive experience working with rights holders on the ground, various countries, various sectors. I personally engaged with thousands of people over the past 23 years, and I love to share what we have learned on the ground. So I would say when you engage with rights holders, the first most important thing is to connect back to the distinction of the UNGPs. What does the UNGP says about rights holders is about the value of their voice is supreme, is essential to the rights of people, to understanding risk to people, to understanding vulnerability on the ground. So capturing these voices of rights holders and vulnerable is essential in driving an effective due diligence process. So I always connect back to this distinction and principle of the UN guiding principles when we engage on the ground. The second important point is about the engagement itself. When you're on the ground, one has to build trust in a very small amount of time, and it requires a lot of practice at your own spiritual and human level to connect with people, build trust in a very small amount of time. Standing in their shoes, understanding their issues is essential in terms of this engagement process. It requires a high amount of listening skills, and making sure that we're able to provide that listening to the people. And sometimes it requires various ways of engagement. Like I've had these opportunities of dancing with people, singing with people, praying with people together, breaking bread with people. And so there are so many ways of engaging on the ground. And one has to just be open to the situation, region, etc. The third most important thing about engaging with rights holders is about understanding the complexities. When we go on the ground, talk to people, there's different languages, there are different dialects, there are different geographies. And when you go to sectors, these sectors are very different. Manufacturing is very different from agriculture. And then also, the vulnerability might be in different people. For example, women, children, elderly, different type of workers, for example. And this all requires one to understand having, a very adaptive kind of a process in engaging with these rights holders. So one size doesn't fit all, we all know that. Especially with rights holders, one has to be very specific. And sometimes we have to take people in our team who know specific language skills or cultural skills, because we're going into a region where some of us can't speak that language. So the fourth most important thing is about capturing the information. So we've spoken to people, we engage with them, we build the trust. How do you really capture that information? And there are, the information on the ground with rights holders is based on stories. People tell about the stories of their life, the issues they're facing, the problems they're having, etc. And so the capturing that stories in pictures, in various activities we do. Sometimes we ask people in the villages to draw a map of their village, and sometimes we ask people to write things on a post-it note and do activities with them. And so capturing all of that sometimes doesn't come into a very standard form of reporting, and it also requires developing some skills in capturing various inputs which are provided by the rights holders. And last but not least, the fifth most important point is about having a human touch, and that goes really the extra mile, showing your humanity when you go and talk to people on the ground, the rights holders. There's a lot of openness there. Some of them are suffering quite a lot, and the comfort you can provide with them, the love and the caring you can provide to people in a short amount of time goes a long way. What I have seen in my work is, touching lives through the work we do, inspiring people in various ways goes a long way. Also encouraging rights holders about collective solutions. There's a lot of collectiveness on the ground, great ideas. How do you encourage them, enable them in those conversations is key in having a very strong rights holder engagement. And last, I would say, is about inspiring solutions. People on the ground already have understanding of what works for them and what does not. And to work beyond our own biases and capturing them, understanding those solutions, and going deeper in terms of how those solutions can be helpful for them, helps a lot in bringing all the information back in our due diligence process and using that in business action, which could actually create a positive impact on the ground. So these are the 5 top points we have learned from our, or drawn from our experiences on the ground, talking to thousands of people, rights holders. And I hope some of these points will be helpful for your journey, your learning, and your contribution. Wishing you the very best.